How's it going, everyone? And welcome to a newsless week of no excuses on VTWProductions.com and YouTube with your favorite show hosts, Still.
Fenurian.
And Vorsell, and we're here to bring you the latest news and commentary from the video games industry for the week, or what if there was any news and commentary in the video games industry for the week.
Yeah.
So instead of that, we'll probably just have to, talk out our backsides as usual. But first of all, if you would like to get involved with the show, you can do so by sending us email at noexcusesvtw@gmail.com or by following us on the Twitter at noexcusesvtw. Please tweet at me. I have very little to bounce off of. And or alternatively, you can join our Discord channel, and the easiest way to get there is to go to vtwproductions.com and click on the No Excuses logo on any of our recent show posts, which should take you directly to our Discord server. Furthermore, on our Discord server, you can find links to the live stream of the show for your convenience at any time.
Indeed. Yes, indeed.
And you can find a picture of a very strange fat man with a tattoo on his chest.
Yeah,
in the live show chat.
We were trying to figure that out before the show. Like, what kind of dope tattoos their own name into themselves?
We don't know that it's his name, do we?
Yeah, it's his name, according to the link description. Anyway.
Oh.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm not sure if it's narcissism or paranoia. So anyway, speaking of the stream, today I'm playing a little bit of Civ 5. The new expansion's out, but I don't have it yet. I'll probably get it eventually. And since I'm playing Australia, it's just dumped me right into the middle of the continent again. Yep. This is going to be a downhill game already.
So are you going to play through it, or are you just going to regen the map until you have an opportunity to play near the coast?
At this point, I don't know where the coast is. Hang on, that might be it over there. So it means I'm going to have to spend a few turns wandering my settler over to Natural Wonder.
Did you?
Yeah.
Did you ever read the as a child? Did you ever read the Linley Dodd picture book, The Smallest Turtle, or something like that?
I don't think I did. No.
It's all about a turtle that's desperately trying to get toward the sea.
Oh dear.
This sounds familiar.
It does, doesn't it?
I don't know though.
Yeah. So, yeah, the new expansion for Civ looks interesting. I'll give it that, but it's a rough money month, so I've got to pick my purchases.
Yeah.
Wow. So, man, what does it feel like to have months that aren't rough money months?
I don't know. I'll tell you when I have one. Alright, so I missed last week because of work, which, yeah, is nothing unusual, unfortunately.
Yep, we went 1 week without me, 1 week without Vol, and 1 week without Fern.
Yep, so we should probably get back on track now.
Yep, we're all here for once. Yay!
Yay!
The duo shows were all a nightmare.
Yes, they were terrible.
Let's not do that again in a hurry.
Yes. Oh boy, so what have I played? I think everyone's probably sick to death of hearing about Monster Hunter World, aren't they?
I'll never be sick of it.
I'm honestly not going to be. I love that game to bits, and it's really disheartening when I see long-hearted fans go online and they are ragging on the game and they are canning its review scores and things because it's
is it too casual for them?
Yes, in a lot of ways, yes.
I figured that would be it, because it's not like super obtuse and full of bugs, and it actually explains like 10% of the stuff instead of 1%.
Yeah, exactly right. It's not the old way it was, so therefore it is bad.
Wah.
Exactly. So, if you see people whining about stuff like that on the internet, just ignore them. It's completely safe to completely write them off. The game has been improved in every single way over the previous iterations, except possibly difficulty.
I have had nothing but trouble with Monster Hunter fans when trying to discuss aspects of the game.
Yeah, so we were discussing that earlier in the week.
Yeah, that's a bit obtuse, and for that particular example, and I don't want to get into it right now, but yeah, the point of it is that Monster Hunter veterans are complete douche canoes when you try to discuss any aspect of their game and compare it to any other video game.
Do they have is it like Final Fantasy where they have this one that they think is just way better than all the others?
No.
It's like how dare you compare our video game to another AAA video game out right now because you saw a similarity between two bosses.
Is Dark Souls AAA? I don't think it is. I think it's maybe
Anyway.
an F at most.
I'm avoiding the DS word because it derails the conversation.
Exactly.
DS word.
Well, that's the conversation we were having the other day. Is it's kind of a hair trigger reaction. You mentioned Dark Souls and Monster Hunter in the same sentence, and Monster Hunter vets lose their minds.
Yeah, like there's one boss particularly that is very reminiscent of a boss in Dark Souls, and there's a good conversation to be had comparing the two. But Dark Souls fans will come in and just trash the conversation because how dare you say the Dark Souls word? I'm like, oh, shut up! You're missing the point of the conversation.
Yeah,
we're comparing two bosses, not games.
This is just what always happens with everything, right? Because everybody knows that it's like Dark Souls comparison is a ridiculous cliche.
Yes.
Either they're the sort of person who uses it all the time because they actually think it's clever, in which case they're unsalvageable.
Yes.
Or they know that it's a cliche. But when people know that something like that is a cliche, they always take it too far.
Yes.
They turn it into a point of pride and a pedestal to stand on that, oh, you're not allowed to say this. No. The reason that people object to it is because it's almost bad and almost always contains no data when you say that. It's not because it's a point of moral principle.
Yeah.
And it seems a lot of people don't understand that. It's not a point of moral principle not to compare things to Dark Souls. It's a point of accuracy not to compare things to Dark Souls.
Yes.
Yeah,
and that's where I can see a lot of the point behind Monster Hunter fans is as soon as somebody shows up and says, oh, Monster Hunter's like Dark Souls, and then they go and rattle off something that's not only completely accurate, but has absolutely nothing to do with whatever the topic was at the time. Yeah, I can understand why they get a bit snappy about it.
Yeah, it's just there's a really interesting conversation to be had, specifically about one boss and how it relates to another boss that just happens to be in Dark Souls. The fact that it's in Dark Souls is 110% irrelevant.
Yes,
but that boss it is very similar to happens to be in Dark Souls.
Well, I mean, the thing is that if it was in Neo, these people wouldn't object.
Well, they do actually.
They do.
I've seen a lot of conversations where there's another boss that I think has. I don't think the conversation is very much merit.
You're talking a 1 to 10 ratio, which is statistically irrelevant.
Anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah, my experience with the Monster Hunter fans has been nothing but so far, and that's not just that conversation. That's just the first thing that comes to mind. But in general, they've just been really douchey, from what I've experienced.
Yeah.
They are also they are people on the internet, and what's more, they're people in a fandom on the internet. Like, you can't expect too much.
Yeah. Internet plus fandom equals douche canoe. That's not quite the greater internet F-word theory, but it's close. So yeah, Monster Hunter World, really, really good. I haven't been able to play it as much as I would like, though. No, I don't want to play it like Ari has and have finished everything in the game already.
Don't play fast. Just don't stop. Just don't stop.
Yeah, you got to stop occasionally, dude.
No, you don't. That's a lie.
He's got a job that organises itself around his gaming. Most of us have to work real jobs.
Yes. Jobs which get in the way.
Not this week. This week I've been swamped.
Yeah. Know that feel. So, yeah, I'm not going to talk too much more about Monster Hunter World other than that it is extremely good. And, yeah, I don't buy full-price games as much as I used to anymore, and I'm glad that now I've actually bought one and not been completely disappointed by it. It's a novel feeling. It's a very novel feeling.
Because SimCity was a thing that happened to you.
Because SimCity was a thing that happened, and it is the reason why I will never trust EA again. I mean, add on to that all the other reasons, but that's why I won't even trust their gameplay demos again. Because their demo lied. Ugh. What else did I play? Okay. I got curious about the big fad, the big phenomenon that's going on. And by phenomenon, I mean cult. So, out of curiosity, and because it's free, I downloaded Fortnite Battle Royale and had a play of that.
Right.
Not PUBG. because PUBG costs money and it looks like a brown buggy mess. Let's face it. And I know there's people who are probably going "Ree" at this now, but yeah. So yeah, the whole battle royale.
Not a pretty game.
It is not a pretty game. No, it is ugly as sin, and it is brown, and it looks like an armor mod because it's pretty much an armor mod. So Fortnite, at least, it's a spin-off of their main game, which is tower defense, zombie survival, Left 4 Dead type deal. Nobody cares about that. They only care about the battle royale because it's free. And the whole thing is 100 people dropped into a field and left to go shoot each other. Run around, salvage weapons and things out of buildings, try not to get shot too early, and ultimately try to be the last person standing. It's actually kind of fun. In short bursts, I will say.
I think that, based on my observations over the course of many years, because this type of game is old. This is not new.
This is nothing new.
Who thinks it's new is delusional.
No.
But, yeah, through my observations suggests to me that this is something that you will either like it or hate it from the outset. Like, you'll know if there's a chance for you to find anything worth doing there.
Yeah.
Because it's really rough. Like, it's not. You need to. It's a crude structure designed for emergent gameplay of a sort. I mean, the gameplay is always killing people, but if it was just about killing people, it wouldn't be interesting. So it's about killing people in interesting places and ways.
Yes.
So you need to value that experience, that you may in fact spend that entire round accomplishing literally nothing.
Yeah, it is entirely
because
possible.
That will happen.
Given luck and timing, it is entirely possible that you'll actually be murdered before you touch the ground.
Yeah,
if you
I've
do
seen
something,
that happen.
Yeah, if you do something silly like jump out of the plane late, but then double back, and people see you coming in because you're very obvious in the sky. You've got this kind of glowing paraglider thing, and absolutely nothing to hide behind. So someone on the ground with a rifle or a sniper rifle or whatever will just shoot you out of the sky. There's a few little bits and pieces about it, like leftovers from the base game. Like there's this rather arbitrary building system in there. You can build basic walls, ramps, and things like that just to either hide behind, provide yourself a bit of extra cover, or whatever. But in the battle royale, it just serves to get you into places that you otherwise couldn't easily access, and occasionally to smash down a wall and discover treasure. But in its favour, the games are incredibly fast. Like, the map it's big, but it's not overly big for 100 people. So you jump in, you get shot, and then you drop out of the game, and you can be back into another game within maybe a few minutes. You don't need to stick around to the end of the game just to see if you get any points or not, anything like that. It all rewards actively. And so, yeah, you can sit down for half an hour and play 10, 20 games. If you're bad, you'll play maybe 30.
Well, the thing is that it's awfully optimal to, once you find a good weapon, just spend the entire match hiding until you have the opportunity to pick off the last few people if you can work out where the epicenter is.
Almost, yeah. So once the barrier comes down and starts moving in, it draws a circle on the map so you can figure out where the center of it is going to be. So that is certainly a strategy, is you get a good weapon and then you hide there. But that said, everybody else has more or less the same idea. You could stay out on the edge and pick off stragglers, but then you've run the risk of getting caught out of bounds once the barrier starts moving, because it does move faster than your run speed. So there's all these strategies, but overall, even though there's all these different things you can do and different ways you can do it, the game really just lacks a bit of depth. It's pick up gun, shoot the guys at its core.
And I think that's why I found nothing in it, because it's just like you're playing Battlefield except really slowly.
Yes. Well, against a lot of people and no Star Wars. Or douchebags. Wait, hang on. Wait. No, that's wrong. So, It's fun, but it's not the sort of thing that's really going to light a fire under me. I know a lot of people love it, and more power to them, but it's not my thing.
Yeah, I did know some people who were super into the armor one, and they were never able to explain to me why they liked it, and they thought they were incredulous that I couldn't understand why it was cool.
Yeah, it's the sort of thing
it's just one of those things.
Yeah, you pick it up and you try it, and if you like it, you like it. If you don't, you don't. No harm done. Unless, of course, you're in a fandom, in which case,
Yeah, are there like warring fandoms between the PUBG people?
Oh my yes, PUBG versus Fortnite fandoms. It is butthurt all round, and there's other people, other games who are trying to make entrances into this market, and you've got the big two now. You've got a couple which are coming up, which could take a bit of a share, but if developers who are just starting out now have probably already lost. It's Overwatch all over again. Except this time there's two of them.
Yeah, I imagine in servers with like regulars that play the game all the time, there would be discussions in general chat about the other game and how terrible it is.
Like World of Warcraft.
If you're in general chat and you're just... Yeah, don't say World of Warcraft in any MMO virtual chat, of global chat. Including WoWs, by the way.
Yeah, which is always very strange.
Yeah.
On one hand, they don't talk about that very much in Terra. On the other hand, the things they do talk about in general chat in Terra, you don't want to think about that too much.
I need an adult.
You need an adult.
Yeah, need an adult.
We are adults. Why do we need adults?
We need adult squared.
Yeah, we need more adults.
Yeah.
You don't go into that game without
more
adults.
Adult in a few days.
No.
I got a couple of months until I'm old. Wait, I'm already old. Damn! Get off my lawn.
I got carded again at the supermarket this morning.
Yay!
I'm preserved.
Oh dear. Hey, at least you've got that good Chinese thing going on. You'll be old until this day that you're not. Or sorry, you'll be young until you're suddenly not.
Yeah, my hair's already greying. Like, that's from my father's side. Like,
yeah.
He started to go grey in his 30s as well.
I have to admit, actually, I'm surprised my hair hasn't started to grey yet. Stupid
we need
father
to get you
genes.
more hair.
What? I've got plenty of hair.
You have thin hair. We need to get you like thicker hair.
It could be worse. I could take after one of the grandfather on my father's side. He was bald by the time he was 20.
Oh.
Yeah, I knew a guy like that.
Yeah, he sported the world's worst comb over his entire life.
I think that comb.
Whoop! Oh dear.
Oh, pickle.
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 Oh dear! That's exploded.
Who exploded?
I've all exploded. So,
okay.
Yeah, we're trying something new. We're actually recording through Discord today, as they did last week, because last week it behaved itself.
Yeah. I think Ball's internet just took a dump on itself, though. I've never heard his voice cut out before.
No. Oh dear, is he back?
I had an internet hiccup.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. So yeah.
Not Discord.
Okay, that's good. I was worried for a moment there. Discord may continue.
And another internet hiccup.
So
it's not Discord's fault this time, which is actually kind of gratifying.
And it's certainly not Skype's, because we're sick of Skype's nonsense. Let's face it.
I've had more internet hiccups at this new place, but I have had less Discord hiccups.
That's something at least. So yeah, bad comb overs. Because we're a gaming show, by the way.
Just say no. Just say no.
Just say no to bad comb overs.
Like if you're going bald, look for nice ways to style, balding hair, or shave it off and learn to care for your dome. Like,
yes.
Don't pretend you're not going bald and try and comb 5 strands of hair across your head like you're Homer Simpson or something.
No, don't do that.
That's what
my grandfather did, and oh dear.
Yeah, just learn about fashionable hats. There are lots of alternatives to looking like an idiot.
Yes, including a very solid buffing regime. If you can't have hair, blind people.
Solar flare.
Solar flare. Yeah, that's actually how Krillin does it, by the way.
Yeah, I feel like Krillin and Tien are sort of owed some royalties by the entire rest of the Dragon Ball cast,
and possibly the universe at large.
Yeah, like Cell also pulls that one, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does.
Yeah. He does. He has the solar flare.
And Cell...
there are definitely some royalties owing.
Yeah, would you call Cell bald? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean his little purple thing is like shiny.
It's shiny, but is it a crown? Oh no!
It's a little insect hat crown.
Yeah, is it a hat or is it part of his head? I don't know, and I think this is probably something we'll never actually find out.
Pretty sure it's part of his anatomy because it grows back with him when he gets blowed up.
Yeah, maybe. Which means he's technically naked. I enjoy that thought.
Don't they say that about Frieza? Doesn't Vegeta think to himself that about Frieza and then just sort of start screaming internally?
Yes, I think he did.
Yeah.
Yeah, Dragon Ball Z Abridged. The best way to enjoy Dragon Ball.
Until I played the new DBZ game, I forgot what the original voice actors sounded like from like half the cast.
I admit I've done the same. It's because in a lot of cases the abridged voice cast, now that they've got so many years under their belts, are better.
Yeah, well, they express different aspects of the characters.
Yes.
The parts... Because, I mean, a lot of how that series is structured is by drawing out the parts that are, like, annoying or endearing or whatever.
Or a bit of both.
From a character, and then exacerbating those to the point just bordering on caricature, and then having the actor play that character.
Yes.
So the parts that are most recognisable about the characters are the parts that the abridged voice actors emphasise. In the case of the original material, they didn't have that sort of pre-existing impressions to work with.
Well, Vegeta did. Like, there was not a whole lot of digging to dig out Vegeta's arrogance.
Well, they got the voice actors for the show have come out and said that after they did the show, they've done a lot better with that stuff. And Dragon Ball Kai sounds totally different from the original series.
That it does. Oh, dear. Well, we're getting off track. Well, actually, no, we're never on track in the first place, so I'm going to call my week there. Oh, wait, no, there is something else we can talk about, which kind of overlaps into Vor's week, so it serves as a good tangent. The newest Fate Grand Order event.
Yes, I've been doing little else. It is what I'm doing right now because I'm trying to keep my AP below max so that it charges.
I would be doing it, except I've run out of AP.
I would talk about it. Vol's going to scream at me because I got lucky again.
You
could say that it's you getting lucky, but the reality is that when you say a person got lucky, what you're really doing is implying that sometimes they're not, which is just not the case with you.
Yeah. You tend to get all of the victory.
I invested in luck stats. Yes. IRL. You should have dropped some points in there. People told me it was a dump stat and not worth putting points into. No.
No,
it's a wonderful stat. Just don't know how to use it right.
Oh, dear. And now I want to go and watch a bunch of Tier Zoo. Incidentally, go and watch a bunch of Tier Zoo.
Oh, dear.
Yes. The natural world presented in video game terms, it's actually very silly. But it works somehow.
Yeah, it's a good way of getting you some zoology in a language that gamers understand.
It is, actually. Yes. You will learn things. Sort of. Anyway.
Yeah. Haagen-Dazs and mineral water.
Haagen-Dazs and mineral water. And Black Cat statues, which I've yet to see drop.
I've got a few of them. I'll have a look.
So
Once I manage to kill this character, that is.
Yeah. So this event is one of a somewhat more serious event than the Valentine's event, and
that's not hard.
Spartacus's unique noble phantasm he uses just for that event, which does nothing.
Yeah. That.
I played it because, well, that happened. I think my character's lost maybe 100 hit points. That's it.
Happening is certainly a thing that it did, but I'm not really sure what else you would say about it.
But, yeah, it's the Garden of Sinners event.
Yep.
Yay, Garden of Sinners. I love Garden of Sinners.
It's a crossover with another Nasu franchise, which I don't know anything about.
Which has movies that are alternately really, really good and really, really boring.
Oh dear.
But movie 5 is probably my favorite anime movie of all time.
Of all time?
Of all time.
Excellent.
Which one was 5? I don't even remember.
Paradox Spiral.
You're going to have to do more than give me the obtuse name of each of the movies.
The one in the apartment building.
Right.
So the one we're actually playing through at the moment.
Yeah, the one where Toko gets the spotlight. Toko is my waifu.
Right.
There's a reason she's been my avatar forever.
You have a stabby taste in waifus.
No, Toko is the Magus.
Okay.
Yeah, Toko's the girl in my avatar. She comes from that movie.
Right.
Well, that movie series.
Yeah. So this event, you can't really just grind it out anymore because it requires your energy points. And this is actually the only time I've really seen my AP gauge actually move in this game.
Yeah, because early on you tend to get a lot of level up, so it keeps refilling.
Yes, and you'll end up with, 300% AP before you know what's going on.
Well, you might if you pull good servants. Since I've had trash servants from the word go,
yeah,
I haven't been able to move that quickly.
So I've really only got 3 servants I've leveled up at this point, which is Saber Nero, Lance Elizabeth Bathory, and Rider Ushiwakamaru. Bleh. Who is actually she's terrible because I've got her on the back lines at the moment, and she comes out every time I'm fighting an assassin. Every time. You're supposed to,
not set things up so that your servants come in when they're going to be at their weakest.
No. Every time I need her, she comes out and she gets absolutely wrecked on.
It's just sad because she's an incredibly good servant. As well, outside of this event where riders are almost always the wrong choice.
Yes.
Because everything is an assassin. The sort of skill set that Ushiwakamaru has is extremely effective in general terms. She doesn't quite fit in any build because she's really bad at arts comps, but generally speaking is a very, very good fit for being the odd man out or supplying damage to a team which has a lot of star generators or something like that. But is generally a good all-round rider.
Yeah. But
charisma is always a great skill.
It is, and that means that I've actually got 2 characters who have charisma on them, with the other being Elizabeth Bathory.
Lucky for some.
Yeah, except the problem with that is, I lucked into some good servants really early on, but they're hungry. They are very, very hungry.
This isn't really a problem so much as you're just doing the natural progression with higher tier servants.
Yeah. But instead of having a choice of options to go to, I could bring up a couple of the 3-star servants I have, except most of the 3-star servants I have are rubbish.
Cry more. I use 3-star servants as my mainstay.
Yes, you do.
Because I don't have anything better to work with.
Yeah.
I've probably done twice as many St. Quartz pulls as you.
Yes, yes, you have. Mind you, I pulled. Yeah, I managed to pull Shakespeare the other day, so I should actually level Shakespeare just for the ham. Even though
he's not bad. He's a cut rate support servant, but if you level his skills, he won't be bad.
Yeah.
I'd say Hans is a lot better, but you could get by with Will.
Hans has that disturbingly deep voice for such a young face. It's very really worrying.
Very masculine.
He is going to write you a bad ending.
Yeah.
Yeah,
he does that.
That's kind of his shtick. Oh boy. So I'm enjoying the event, even though I'm not really sticking my face into it probably as hard as I need to, because yeesh.
I dumped all of my XP items into Shiki in order to get her good enough to actually participate in this event. I need to win this gamble.
Yes. So that's the thing. You just do the first mission in this, and it just gives you a 4-star assassin servant straight up. The catch is she's temporary.
Yeah, at level 1.
At level 1. So she's not all that great when you start her off, and if you don't get another one sometime during the event, she goes poof. That's regardless if you've leveled her up or not.
Yep. And we'll take all of that XP with her. You will get no refunds of any kind.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's pretty rough. But yeah, you really need ideally to have enough XP on you to ascend her twice. And I don't have anywhere near that amount, so I'm going to have to come up with a solution. Although I have kept all of my gold level XP to all rewards that I've ever gotten, so in a pinch I might be able to push her through to the second ascension with that, because you need to ascend her twice as part of the missions.
Mm-hmm.
Because you need to complete a certain number of missions for a whole bunch of things, because the structure of this thing is actually extremely elaborate, much more elaborate than I expected.
Yeah. Like most of the events, it's just a small linear story, which is incredibly silly, and then a whole bunch of grinding.
Yeah, incredibly silly, definitely. But yeah, so they've got this set up basically where the apartment building from Paradox Spiral is the setting that some unnamed villain has basically rescued from the multiverse and has tried to turn it into a singularity, which is like the major points of interest investigated by the organization you work for in the main story.
Mm-hmm.
So with this thing being pulled out, all the servants start gravitating towards it, and it basically warps them and turns them psychotic.
Yes.
So you're basically going in there, and you have to clear it of servants as you sort of make your way to the top to find out who's responsible. And there's basically a series of objectives, like, you know, investigate this room, clear this floor's rooms 10 times or whatever, clear every room on this floor, kill 20 of this type of dude, kill 200 of this type of dude, collect 100 of these things. Like, there's a whole pile of MMO sort of style collectathon and kill quest missions, and as you go you will unlock additional rooms as you climb the 8 tiers of this apartment building complex, and as you go you're collecting rewards that can be traded in for stuff, both limited time events and for crafting materials. I don't know what the relative value of crafting materials are. Like, I don't really understand which ones are rare and which ones are not, but some of them look like they're pretty rare.
Yeah.
And yeah, so the key objective though for most normal people is to get Shiki, and there are enough copies of her to max out her noble phantasm, but some of the later ones are extraordinarily difficult to get. Likewise, all of the materials required to ascend her, materials, not XP, are also supplied, but again, some of them are quite rough to get a hold of. So, yeah, the ideal is to get all 5 copies of Shiki and all 4 of the sharp knives you use to ascend her over the course of this 2-week event. Unfortunately, there are 8 tiers of this apartment complex, and each floor has a recommended level of 10 times the floor.
Mm-hmm.
My highest level servant is level 47, and I am on the high end of floor 4. I've just unlocked floor 5, and I'm starting to find it relatively rough. Like, I have to be quite careful. At the moment, I'm running a comp with 3 servants, which are all casters and all have 3 arts cards. So, you know, most of the things are by assassins at the moment. And basically, I am stalling until I get noble phantasms, unleashing a flurry of noble phantasms, then going back to stalling again.
Yeah,
that's my core strategy, and it seems to be the only thing that is keeping me alive at this point.
Yeah,
so
my strategy
I hope that I will manage to make it all the way to Shiki.
Yeah, hope so. My strategy is not anything quite so complicated. It is stack guts on Nero and just hope she doesn't die when she's killed.
On the upside, I would say that for general non-min-max purposes, you only need 1 copy of Shiki, because the special effect on her Noble Phantasm is instant death.
Yes.
And the base rate of inflicting it is 100%. And it gets better the more copies of her that you get to improve the Noble Phantasm. The thing is, using death on a servant almost never works. Like, it's just not a strategy you use, ever. And so improving that in order to make it work on servants some of the time is not really vital, in a sense.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's something that you use on, big fat chunks of hit points that are regular mobs in the storyline mode, not really something you use against servants. So yeah, you could get away with only having 1 copy. The important bit is to get a hold of those Ascension materials, if at all possible, and they are much easier to get than the last few copies of Shiki. Much easier, because like the minimum requirement for that is like the requirements for the 4 sharp knives are clear the first 3 floors, which I think I've either done or I'm nearly done. Clear the first 6 floors, complete 30 missions, which I've nearly done, and complete 60 missions. Like, that's way more doable than getting the 5 copies of Shiki that require you, 90 missions, 20 Rapunzels. Rapunzels have like 250,000 hit points or something stupid like that. So, yeah. So yeah, if I can just scrounge up 1 copy of her plus the Ascension materials, I'll be content with that. But I really want to get my investment back, and I'm nervous that I won't.
Yeah.
Because I dumped a lot of EXP into her to get her usable, because I have my only assassin aside from her that I've got leveled up is Sasaki Kojiro.
Savior of France.
He's a total bro. He's the savior of France. But he's also a 1-star servant, so his stats level off awfully quickly.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's not going to be much use after Orleans, I don't think. But yeah, although there are some people who are just such crazy super fans of his that they take him all the way to 100 with Grails. Because
why
reasons,
though?
I guess. Because
yeah.
France really needs to be saved, I suppose.
I guess. I'm still waiting for a 4-star Savior of France Kojiro card.
That would be nice. I think he deserves it.
He deserves it.
Anyway, but yeah, so I'm sort of racing against time now because I have an inferior sized AP pool which will cap out while I'm asleep. I have really bad servants compared to most people, so I've got to try and get the best pit ringer for each level from the support list, and come up with team comps that will allow me to survive for the amount of time it will take down to take down some of these 100,000 hit point servants that I have to fight. But overall, I would say in terms of raw difficulty, the event is not hard. No. I'm at a disproportionate disadvantage compared to most people who will have at least pulled some decent servants. But I think that it's quite doable for pretty much anybody who's, around level 40, level 50 has a reasonable spread of reasonable servants. That said, this week I did pull 1 4-star servant, and I did not want that servant. It was Beowulf, who is,
no.
The problem with Berserkers is that the hierarchy of tiers is very linear and very rigid. So Beowulf is not a bad servant. He has 4-star stats and he has a decent kit, and even if it's really bland, and decent abilities, but he's just, worse than every other 4-star or better Berserker.
Yeah.
Because Berserkers are all big chunks of stats. It really doesn't matter how good a servant is if it's just inferior to all the other ones in that line. Like, you're not going to want to dump points into it. Because if I got, say, Heracles, then I don't want Beowulf anymore, and all that investment in him goes to waste, because Heracles basically does the same thing, only he's better at it.
Mm-hmm.
In that sense, all the Berserkers are the same. Like, my current Berserker that I use is Kiyohime, and the main reason I use her is because over the course of a farming battle, she can just mop up entire waves using her Noble Phantasm, and it's relatively easy to pull that off and get her leveled up. But yeah. So Beowulf, yeah, I'll probably dump some levels into him so that I've got a single target berserker. Like at the rate that I pull servants, the only way for me to get to pull another 4-star would be to have a 4-star already and have it be so good that it would annoy me to get a better one. So that's the best way for me to pull another servant. But yeah, I suppose Beowulf as a servant, you can load into a cannon and fire him at a target and he'll blow it up. He'll die in the process, but he'll blow it up.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he's basically just a big thug.
He's a bro. He's a total bro.
Yeah.
He is the dude Brodius.
Yeah, so I'm really concerned about making my investment back on this event, but I think that I can do it. I can do it. If I carefully pick the right ringers to bring in for the support list, I should be able to do it.
You've got about 10 days left to go, and you're already fairly close to the goal, so I think you can do it.
Yeah, well, in terms of raw levels, yes, but there's a few roadblocks where you have to stop and farm 200 dudes.
Yeah.
And that's rough.
Yeah.
Especially if you've got, work to do during the day. I guess I could time my breaks so that I could go on break when my AP was capping out.
You could.
But what was it? Oh no, Ari.
Oh no, you're becoming one of them gotcha types.
No, I haven't spent a cent on it.
Yeah,
no, it's not that. It's just the people that have like alarms on their phone for when their AP's ready.
Oh dear, yeah, don't do that.
In the cartoon. But yeah, I'm not going to set an alarm. But if I make sure I drain all of my AP on the bus on the way to work, and then drain it again at the first break, drain it again at lunchtime, drain it again at the second break, then drain it again when I get home. I should be able to get reasonable mileage. The reason is, of course, that I have only just started playing, so my level's low.
Yes.
And so it caps out quite quickly. Because AP never generates any faster, but the amount that you can store really increases over time. So what I really need to do is get it to the point where it doesn't completely cap out while I'm asleep. That's the biggest loss in efficiency, I think.
You're not going to... Yeah, don't set an alarm for it in the middle of the night. If you do that, you know you've gone too far.
I remember I had a flatmate years and years ago who I got into playing Travian, which I wasn't an enthusiast for, but I had played it a little bit and he saw me playing it and he wanted to have a go, so he did. And he very rapidly descended into setting alarms at all hours of the night so he could adjust his production queues and things.
Oh dear.
It was pretty brutal.
Yeah. There's not a whole lot of depth to those sorts of games. It's all about the time management.
Yep.
And sinking away your life.
Yeah. Even though this is Fern's week, I'm still going to continue hijacking it.
We're kind of transitioning anyway.
The other thing relevant to this, I watched the First Order anime.
Oh, yes.
Which is the prologue for Grand Order animated. And, it was a very faithful retelling, but it was pretty decent. Production values weren't the highest, but they were good. It just made me depressed about Olga all over again, to be honest.
Yeah, spoilers by the way, Olga. It's not major spoilers.
Well, spoilers for the prologue.
Yeah, it's the start of the game.
For the bit before the game has started. But yeah, it's. I was sad. Although the way that they kill her off sort of makes it not it does. It's not that it does. It makes it look like she's not dead, and she is canonically dead.
But she is most definitely dead.
If you pick apart everything that they have said, there are no loopholes, no obvious loopholes.
Yeah.
They would need to Deus Ex Machina, find out that something that they thought was true was not true, that sort of thing, in order to bring her back, which I'm still holding out for because I miss her.
No, you cannot survive those sideburns.
But yeah, the way that they kill her off, sort of, she dies in a sort of a disappeary type fashion, rather than just sort of evaporating into the ether the way she does on screen in the visual novel part of the mobile game. She sort of gradually gets submerged into the big model of the world in the anime. So she sort of disappears out of sight by sinking into it, which is then designated as her being killed.
Right.
So
the way they describe her death in the visual novel part of the game, though, is just horrible.
It's extremely decisive, though.
Yeah, stab, dead.
It is terrifying when they describe how dead she is dead and how she is not going to enjoy it.
Yeah.
She is so dead.
She is incredibly dead. Like, she is completely dead.
Like, she didn't deserve that.
No.
Yeah.
She was kind of an uppity pain in the butt, but
like,
yeah.
It was a bit of a mommy death, in a way.
Yeah, like,
because I did not expect her to die. Like, she was introduced as you would a recurring character. Like, she had, all of the signs of being the sort of the Rin Tosaka.
Yes.
Of the story.
Yeah, her death is when you realize, oh, he actually tried when he wrote the story for this game. Surprisingly.
It's a lot sillier than most of them, aside from Carnival Phantasm. But it's I was still sad when Olga died. Caster Cuchulainn is a bro. Obviously.
He is a total bro.
Wicker Man does not look much less ridiculous in the anime. I have to say, it does not look much less ridiculous. It does look measurably less ridiculous. Is it not by?
Yeah, is it more than just one sprite being flipped over and over again?
Yes, it is more than that.
Is it 3?
It's still silly, though. Very silly.
The Wicker Man.
The Wicker Man.
Wicker Man Festival in Bloodborne.
Not the bees, not the bees.
Not the bees.
But, it does not look cool. It does not manage to look cool. But it makes a valiant attempt. I'll say that. The rider that they fight is a rather cool villainous version of Medusa.
Yeah.
It's a Lancer Medusa, but it's not the Lancer Medusa from Grand Order, who was like Medusa as a child before her age started to show, because she's the only one of her sisters that grows up. But it's a sort of a villainous, nasty, malevolent Medusa who is definitely the Gorgon, but is not like all the way Gorgon like the Avenger Medusa is.
Right.
Not quite to mega double stuffed Oreos yet.
No. It's probably good you see her like that, because you see her in the Valentine's event and she's just being browbeaten by her sisters. That's Fate Stay Night Medusa.
And I think that it happens, I can't remember which Medusa it is, but if you have summoned both of the other Gorgons as servants, if you have both Sino and Uriale, then Medusa has a special chat thing in the My Room screen where she's all exhausted because she's been sent on so many errands by her sisters.
I've noticed that a few servants will have random little chat bits pop up. Like Nero has one that pops up once you get Caligula. Mentions how young and healthy her uncle looks. Except, the whole crazy black eyes deal.
Yeah, he's a bonkers.
He's the bonkers version of Caligula.
So and that was pretty cool. It's a very solid sort of tie-in thing. It's not great. It's not like production values Kingsglaive or anything like that. But it's a good tie-in. But
just on a semi-tangent, while we're on the topic of Fate, I did sit down and watch that Cooking for Emiya anime. Which was it today's menu for the Emiya family? Yes. The cooking show that I talked about. I think I talked about it last week when you were away, Fern. Yes, I think you probably did. But that is surprisingly enjoyable. It's also beautifully animated. Yeah, it's a totally different style from normal. Yes. And Lancer shows up and just invites himself over in the second episode. Yeah. As you do. As he does. As he certainly does. And he isn't killed on sight, which is an achievement for that Lancer. Like an episode where Lancer lives. You know it's bad when Carnival Phantasm did the send-up for it, and it kind of just sticks.
Yeah.
Because I think... How many fights does Atlanta actually win?
He doesn't really win any fights per se. And
Yeah.
pretty much all of his fights get interrupted.
Yeah. Or he gets chased off.
A long while ago, I read a fan fiction, because I'm still that sort of person that reads fan fictions. I read a rather well written fan fiction, which is just basically Fate Stay Night retold if Kirei was getting bored, and rather than playing his cards close to his chest as he does in most of the routes of Fate Stay Night, just told Lancer with the power of a command seal to go and try and win.
Oh dear.
And so basically Lancer runs amok and gets in tons and tons of fights. He still dies in the end, I think. But he does a lot better than he would otherwise.
He just does, instead of just losing every time and dying, he actually accomplishes something. Well, actually, he accomplishes something in Unlimited Blade Works, didn't he?
Yeah, he manages to bring down Kirei in the end.
Yeah, he gets points for that.
Well, I mean, you can never really tell if Kirei's dead, but...
No. Creepy-ass priest. Ugh. Nobody likes Kirei.
Mabutofu?
I think when he's used as a comical character, he's fun, I think.
Because he's still creepy?
He's not. He's also. Well, he's a horrible, horrible evil man.
Yes.
Because he is. That's sort of his thing. And you are shown that clearly in both Fate and Unlimited Blade Works. But he's actually portrayed as being a bit sympathetic is the wrong word. But he's portrayed differently in Heaven's Feel as just somebody who is so radically oriented in a different way to the protagonist that there's not really, there's no discussion to be had.
Yeah.
They just, they are opposed individuals. And they're like, well, he's portrayed almost sort of like in an elemental kind of way rather than in a malevolent and free way.
I can't think of Kirei without the characterization from Fate Zero anymore, so it's hard to remember how I originally saw him when I first read the VN. Because in Fate Zero, he comes off as the reluctant sociopath, and you have that as his backstory. But you don't have that initially just in Fate itself. So it's hard to go back and forget that Fate Zero happened and remember what I thought of him at the time.
Well, the thing is, I was a Fate Stay Night fan for a long time before Fate Zero existed, so my impressions are already very well formed.
Yeah. Ugh.
Yeah. I had read Fate Stay Night before Fate Zero, but I did not become a big fan until about when I tried Melty Blood in 2013.
I was introduced by the Studio Dean one. And I bought each DVD as it appeared on the shelves in an actual brick and mortar store.
Yeah, I guess my official introduction was the Unlimited Blade Works movie.
That's the wrong way to do it.
That's the wrong way to do it.
Pretty sure I was drunk when I recommended.
Oh yes, you were. You were completely off your face.
Back in those days, you were drunk all the time, though. So
yeah,
like that's a safe bet that's the reason.
Oh dear. So yeah, there's some really good Fate stuff out there, and then there's some bad Fate stuff.
Fate Apocrypha, though, man, did you ever finish watching that?
I've got to go back and finish that because it's so very, very good.
The back few episodes are spectacular. Like they're so good. Like they don't have the sort of UFO table budget that they have when in the big productions, but boy, they do so much with what they've got. They make all the right types of compromises to keep everything very, very dynamic. It's a really, really great final sort of climactic sequence of events in the last few episodes. Really, really well produced.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mostly like the character dynamics in Apocrypha more than the animation.
Some of the characters.
The reason I say that though is because a well-written story, when you leave aside all the other considerations, is always a well-written story. But the whole point of the visual medium is to execute on that in a in a compelling way, and they managed to do it. They managed to do all of the action parts. They managed to do where it was looking for a long time like it might fall down when it got there because the budget was so much lower than what some people were hoping. But they pull it off in the end. They do a real good job.
Yep, and it's got impact where it needs to have impact, and it's an absolute spectacle to watch.
Yeah, there's some things I think that flap a bit loose. Like, I find that the Atlanta's storyline is a bit iffy. Like, the whole oh well for the children thing just seems like it comes out of left field and doesn't strike me as especially compelling because there's not really a great reason for her to go so psychotic like she does. Like, it's not like she didn't have a great child. It's true. It was pretty darn horrible. But it's not the sort of thing that makes sense to become like her sole motivation in life is for the children everything.
Yeah.
And she tips so quickly over into psychosis when the Jack episodes happen that it's sort of hard to get grips with her motivations. It's not given the sort of time that it needs to make sense. So it just ends up as, oh, well, and then she goes crazy out of nowhere. Old Gods did it.
Old Gods did it.
But, I think that part of the story is a bit janky.
Yeah.
Like, it's not as compact and well realized as, like, what it needed is the same amount of screen time that was given to Vlad. Like, because Vlad had enough screen time that you could see the person he was, the goal that he had manifest in his position as wanting to be a leader again in the New World for his country's sake, and so on, and his hatred of what his legacy had become and who that made him out to be and the implications for that as a servant. Like, every part, while it was covered quickly, it was covered concisely and fully. And when they put that all together, it may have been, traditional NASA versus bullcrap, but you see this transition of a heroic spirit into a pseudo-dead apostle over the course of a handful of episodes which tie into everything going on around it. Atlante, on the other hand, does almost nothing for most of the story, then goes crazy.
Yeah. Actually, I'd love to see a bit of a storyline in Grand Order because it's the perfect opportunity to do it with regards to Vlad. Since you've got both versions of Vlad in there. You've got Vlad Ryder, who is Vlad as he was, and Vlad Berserker is the Vlad at story makes him out to be. If I got the correct understanding of it.
There's a few Vlads in there. There's the Vlad from Fate Extra, there's Vlad from Fate Apocrypha. And I don't think there might even be another Vlad. Because there's more than one Vlad in that family.
I think there's a caster one as well.
Because there's I think Vlad the Second and Vlad the Third might both be in there. I can't remember though.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I have actually, because I've been so busy at work, I've basically spent a huge amount of time just tooling around with Grand Order, and the event has been something that has occupied me a great deal. Like, my level has just soared past Ari's, but his servant lineup is still ridiculously more powerful than mine, which should tell you something about our relative luck.
Yeah. I've actually managed to just hit a level, so I've got a new spin of events to do. Yay! Well, I would, except my AP burns through so damn quickly at this point.
Yeah.
Right. I'm going to set the free summon going.
Oh dear. It's going to be a Steris. It's always a Steris.
Compared to both what y'all have put into it. I am hyper casual. I would log on and do dailies like once every other day for like a year.
Yeah.
I pulled Mozart again.
Oh dear.
That's the 7th time I think I pulled Mozart. But yeah. So this is still technically Fern's week.
Yeah, but say
we transitioned a while ago. Sort of. It just kind of happened.
Well, sadly, I don't really have much to talk about week-wise this week because work has been nuts. Like, super nuts.
That's okay. That actually puts us close to the 1 hour mark anyway already.
Oh, I pulled another Shakespeare. I'm trying to think what else that I did. I did play some Monster Hunter, although not a terribly large amount because I keep getting distracted by things.
Yes.
Like my storyline has not progressed at all over the course of the week. I've just opened the 3rd zone and I have to go and kill the fluff bat. But
yes.
But I have killed the fluff bat, but it was when I was wandering around derping about and it got in my way. So I killed it. The same thing applies to Legiana. I have no idea when you're supposed to kill Legiana, but it got in my way, so I killed it.
After fluff bat.
But I have to say, the whole this creature's left the area thing is absolute cancer and drove me up the wall. Because twice I had monsters leave the area while I had them limping around their nest on their last legs and about to keel over. And then they would just get up and leave. There's not a damn thing you can do about it. Like, I don't know why that has to be in the game. It's a huge pain in the butt. Anytime you're in expedition mode, you can't tell how much time a creature has left when you meet it.
No. It gives you a warning when it's about to leave, but that I'm not exactly sure how far out that actually is.
It's like 5 minutes or something like that. 5 or 10 minutes. It's not very long.
Yeah. So
But,
you can kill it in that time, but I've had monsters just wander off halfway. Well, they don't wander off in combat. If they leave the zone you're in, though, then they're gone.
Well, think about Legiana. You get that monster to, this monster's about to leave the zone. It's low on health. Then it decides to return to its nest. Think about how many vines that nest is up.
Yep.
How long it takes to climb all of those.
Yep.
By the time you reach it, you have 30 seconds left.
If you get to farming Legiana, you're going to have to learn to use them wedge beetles if you want to be able to kill her in a timely manner, chasing her up to the nest. There are tons of wedge beetle shortcuts that you're supposed to use to get up and catch up to her faster, but they don't tell you about them at all at any point in the level, and they're kind of hidden away in nooks and crannies as you're climbing up there.
You really
I found a few of
them,
them,
yeah.
but I couldn't find all of them. And I certainly did not have time to find all of them when I just got told that, Legiana's about to leave.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't understand why it's like that. The timer should start, like, either when you sight it or when you engage it or something like that. Or they should make it impossible for it to leave while you are actively engaging it. Like, it should not be a case that you can, legit have it almost dead and then it can just decide to leave.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think in cases where...
That's irritating.
If you've done 25% of the health in damage to a monster, it should not leave the area until like 10 minutes have passed after it's gone to sleep in its lair. That would make the most sense, but
I don't really care what method they use. Just the one that they have in place is dumb, and it's really, really annoying.
Yes. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear.
The other thing is that I can't make head or tail of the numbers driving this game. Like, at all. I really can't.
I'm going to say it again. It's a lot simpler than it used to be.
But, I still can't decide whether or not I'm supposed to be using elemental weapons and how much the different stars for elemental weakness are worth. And unless I have an ideal weapon for the job, like, it just very rarely seems to be a good idea to use an elemental weapon, although I don't know how much damage that's worth. And then there's the whole affinity thing on top of that. Like, it's just bewildering to me. I don't know how to... I feel very, very lost about the whole thing.
You're an early adopter this time. There's no info out there, dog. Gotta wing it.
That's the thing. Like, until, I finished my degree, I got my piece of paper saying that I'm a doctor, I left university, I got a job, I have money again. Not much money, but money. I have money again. What that means, though, is that for the very first time in forever, I am able to buy games when they are new. Previously, when I had bought games, the wikis were filled out nicely.
Yes.
By the time I got them. And now I go to the wiki, it's just question marks everywhere.
Yeah.
So what do I even do with this information?
You fill in the blanks. Or wait until somebody else does.
Yeah, because I don't understand anything about this game. I really don't. It's bewildering. So I just run around and shoot things with my bow. And then sometimes they die and sometimes they eat me.
Yeah.
The armor is quite nice, but I wish that there was a transmog system, because some of the armor is just like, no, I'm not
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm stuck in a clown suit with a purple polka dotted bra and like these really tight scale leggings with high heels on them that are like blue and teal with RP glowy on them, and like
Yeah. The one
these
thing I have
edgelord gloves that go
Yeah.
with everything. It's just a clown suit. It doesn't match at all.
Yeah, you're going to be wearing an exploded clown. But at least with Monster Hunter, the armor sets look more or less the same regardless of your gender. So if you're wearing a spotted bra in a female armor, the male equivalent is going to be wearing it as well.
I can tell you that is not the case, because the Nargante armor, it is a spotted bra for girls, and it's a chest piece for boys.
Oh, they changed all that? Damn.
At least for the Nargante armor.
I remember running around various previous Monster Hunter games in a giant poofy dress. Just because.
Yeah. Skirts are probably the same, but
yeah,
no, the boys do not have a purple polka dotted bra.
Well, at any rate, that's what I'm currently working on. Is I'm collecting bits and pieces to make the Rathian set. Not because the Rathian set is actually good for me in any particular way. Like, the stats are almost the same as the set from Anjanath, except it doesn't have a set bonus. And there's some slight variations here and there. There's a tiny bit of extra defense, tiny bit of adjustments to your resistances, and so on and so forth. But it's it's this enormous plate skirt, and it's just hilarious. I kind of want it. But so I'm still having fun with that game. Like every person who has a job of any kind, I want more time.
Yes.
But we can't have everything we want, unfortunately. So yeah, I'll leave it there.
All right then. We should probably take a break.
We should. All right, we're gonna put on some music, and we'll be back in a few minutes, folks.
Oh, try not to sound so enthused.
I'm very sleepy. So, Vol, we were at your week. We're near the end of it.
Yeah, haven't been able to watch any anime recently, really. That's really frustrating to me. There's only so much time in the day, and people keep trying to take it away from me.
Yeah.
Really obnoxious.
This is how you adult, unfortunately.
Well, it sucks.
Yes, it does.
Sucks, and I don't like it.
I want it to stop.
We told you, dog.
Mm-hmm.
So, I suppose we'll move into my week then. So I was at lull in my work schedule for the past, not this week, but the week before and the weekend. So until about Tuesday, I was fairly open and had some free time to do stuff. But Tuesday until this afternoon, I was absolutely swamped, and I'm going to be swamped from Sunday until about next Tuesday. So I'm at my heavy workload part of my weeks. And that's gonna be fun. Ugh. But yeah. Ugh. I'll get over it. I'm very tired because I've been working so much this week, and I had some free time today, so I wanted to do something with it. So I played some Monster Hunter with Sleepbringer, and I have learned that Sleep has this strange ability to attract himself to my axe head whenever I'm doing vertical chops on a monster, and I wound up punting him off the top of Zor Magnaros out of range to hit the tails. Basically, anytime he could get in the way of my axe head when we're at a time to do damage, he would. And he would get punted across the map. It was very interesting. I'm not quite sure why he kept winding up there, even though he knew it would happen, but it is somehow my fault. But yeah, we've already talked a lot about Monster Hunter, and I've already explained what I've gone through and what I've liked and don't like about the game. But
saying that this person keeps trying to throw himself on my axe or whatever, like that's like the sort of thing that a judge throws out of court, sir.
Yeah.
I told him I'm just going to do the vertical swipe so that you don't get hit by it anymore, and he still walked into it.
I think he just said at that point, challenge accepted. But yeah, friendly fire, at least it's been a thing in the game since the beginning. You can't kill, well, you can if you continue to do it, but you're not going to do a whole lot of damage to your friends accidentally, but you will swat them around the place. You will interrupt their casts and combos and things like that. So you've got to be mindful of it.
And if you have a big honking axe, you'll kick him up in the air.
Oh, look, it's Saladin. I should burn his cities to the ground.
Oh, dear. So, yeah. Yeah, I've been enjoying my time with Monster Hunter. Even after beating the game, I don't mind going back and hunting monsters with people. And, yeah, a bunch of my friends are hitting high rank finally, so I can start questing with them again.
Mm-hmm.
So,
I'll
yeah,
probably get high rank next time I sit down and play it.
Yeah. So, that's fun. I'm hoping some of my friends hit post-game so I can hunt some tempered monsters with them soon. But that's probably a bit off. That's okay. I don't expect people to keep up with me when I was at a lull in my work period when the game came out. So
no normal person would be able to.
No.
Yeah, no. But no, they should get there soon. I'm hoping you guys get there eventually, one day. Maybe.
We need time for that.
Yeah.
I need time and the ability to focus, like, on anything.
Yeah. So yeah, well, you've got about 10 or 12 days to catch up while I'm busy with work. Because I won't be able to do anything. What else did I do?
That's something.
I played a bit of Grand Order, but not nearly as much as these two. Y'all play that game way more than I ever did.
You're a jerky McJerkface, by the way, for your drops.
What?
Yeah, you're super jerky McJerkface.
Yeah.
How? Oh, you're so mean to me. It's not my fault my luck's that high.
I want to steal your luck dice.
It's an inherent trait. You have to roll it. You have to be born with it.
Yes.
So yeah, I pulled the Saber Ryojishiki. Just like I'd saved up about 75 Saint Quartz, and on my second times 10 pull, I pulled Ryojishiki 5-star and another Francis Drake 5-star in the same pull.
Because you're a jerky McJerkface.
Yes.
Yes, I have luck.
It's
about the only thing I got going for me.
The only 5-star things I the only 5-star things I managed to pull so far has been Craft Essence. One Craft Essence.
Yeah, I got one.
It's probably the
same. I think I might have gotten a second one, but one of them was an event one, so it doesn't really count.
No, that doesn't count. What was the 5-star Craft Essence I got? Anyway.
I don't know. But yeah. So, I had some good pulls. I got the Shiki I wanted. I want to get the other Shiki, so I'm going to at least try to get the Servant unlock. I don't even really know what these Shikis do. I just want them because they're from Garden of Sinners, and I love that movie series.
Assassin Shiki is probably the best 4-star welfare servant in the game, and is probably the best 4-star assassin, period, I would say, like, with some reservations. It's just she's a very, very good all-rounder. Death is basically a useless status effect against servants, but yeah, she's not terrible by any stretch of the imagination. A lot of the welfare servants, like Saber Lily and that, are really bad, but Shiki's not one of them. Shiki's very good.
Yeah, so I'll be working on getting her. I'm near the end of floor 1 on the apartment. So I was hoping I'd have more time to chew through this event, because I really wanted to do this event, but I'm just really swamped at work, and I know I'll get distracted. So I'll try to poke at it, and I'll try to get her, but I don't know if I'll be able to pull it off. But yeah, so this weekend, the big game I played and spent most of my last chunks of free time on was Dragon Ball Fighters. So, also known as ArcSys does Marvel vs. Capcom better than Marvel vs. Capcom.
Yes.
So, I expected to enjoy the game, but I'm actually having a lot of fun with it. There's a lot of systems in the game I just really like. And my favorite one is that if you get hit by a raw level 3 super, it's all done to blue health damage. So you can just tag that character out and they'll regen all that health.
Oh, nice.
So it's not an instant match decider.
Yeah, if you get level 3 spammed on, it's not GG. Yeah, if somebody just starts throwing out level 3s, they're wasting bar if it's not in a combo or setting up for something. So I'm really happy about that. A couple things about the game I don't like so much are anything related to Goku Black, because everybody plays him.
That's because Goku Black is ridiculous from the get-go.
Yeah, he's
like
really
pink, isn't he?
He is when he goes Super Saiyan God, whatever.
No, his is called Super Saiyan Rose.
Yes, he turns pink and British.
Yes.
Yes, so it turns him British and pink.
So he's really villain is British.
Yes.
He does have a very Fana voice, even in the dub. In both the Japanese and the dub, he's a very Fana voice. And oh my goodness, this character is just so good compared to all the other characters. He has a really good command grab from full screen that does a sizable chunk of damage. He has decent projectiles. He's got a good air neutral game. He can activate his supers in the air or on the ground, which is a rarity in the cast. Most can only do one or the other. He's just a really dang good character, and everybody and their sister's cousin's cat plays him. I'm just sick of playing against him. But
is this like he's going to be legit the only character people play at pro level, or is it like, oh well, he's the most pub stompy character?
It seems to be both. Like he's really good for pump stomping, and I've seen almost every pro player has a Goku Black on the team. Like he needs a balance adjustment. Does too much damage, has too much versatility for what he can do. They seriously need to tone him down. Another character that's really obnoxious to play against is Hit, who does not have a very good air game, so he is dealable with. But when you're on the ground against him, he can literally teleport to you in like 2 frames and whack you. And if you're not guarding, you're just in trouble. So yeah, he's very obnoxious to play against because his attacks come out so quickly, and it's very hard to know when to punish him until you learn him. But yeah. Other mechanics in the game. The Dragon Ball system's really fun. If you manage to get 7 bars and meet a certain condition, like there's a lot of things that can trigger a Dragon Ball to appear. Like you snap back a character, it'll give you 1. If you do a full auto combo, it'll give you 1. If you do a combo that ends in a super move, you get a Dragon Ball. And if you manage to accrue 7 Dragon Balls across both players' actions, and you have 7 bars, the first person to activate a condition to get another Dragon Ball again will summon Shenron. And this acts as an interesting mechanic if you were saving your meter, because you can either restore the character that you currently have active back to full health, you can revive one of your dead characters at 20% HP, you can give yourself another burst to use whenever you want, or you can make it so all your characters constantly regenerate blue life. So I really like that mechanic just because it adds an interesting dynamic to, do I really want to spend my meter or do I want to save it for Shenron? Which is interesting.
So it's something that is genuinely practical to use.
Yeah.
Because I was a bit concerned that it sounded almost like it was going to be a bit of a pipe dream.
Infinity Stones, anybody? So yeah, it sounds like all of those options are actually viable and useful in different situations. Unlike that Infinity Stone System Infinite put in, where there's one stone you take and that's it.
Yeah, it's I haven't seen many pro players use it because I think they're just not used to it yet. They're used to expending their meter to make sure the characters are dead. But yeah, it's fairly viable, especially in casual play, where I often find myself not spending any meter because I want to full heal my character back up because I just got beat to death for the first half of the round, and that character's got like no health left, and then I get a full another health bar back. That's enough for me to come back.
Neat.
So is this isn't going to be one of those things that turns every match toxically long, is it?
No, matches they've cranked the damage up from the betas quite a bit, so matches tend to a character will die in 4-ish auto combos per character. If you do a full auto combo with a character onto your opponent's character, you're going to kill it in about 4 combos. So they're not absurdly high health, but yeah. And matches only are 1 round since it's a 3-on-3 fighting game. So matches don't go too terribly long. But yeah. Aside from that, I really am enjoying the game. I'm having trouble finding a third for my team. I'm playing Adult Gohan, Future Trunks, and I've tried like every character in the cast to be my third, and I just don't know who I like yet. So I'm still deciding, but I really like Adult Gohan and Future Trunks, who are mid-high tier, mid-tier characters. They're not the super OP ones like Hit or Goku Black, but they're pretty dang good.
Yeah. So
I heard that Goku Blue has actually become a very vicious pub stomper because his auto combo has a natural mix-up in it, and most noob players just won't block it ever.
Yes. And it's a level 3, or he's one of the few characters with a level 5 that does, no joke, 3/4 of your life in damage.
Whee!
Yeah.
This is actually all reminded me of a news article, too. So you've got a bunch of DLC characters coming down the pipe for Dragon Ball Fighters, but the other fighting game that's coming out that I'm really interested in, which is BlazBlue Cross Battle.
Oh, BlazBlue Cross Tag Battle?
Yes, with the silly name.
And the dodgy DLC policies.
Yeah. So they announced initially, they put a big stream up saying, here's all our initial playable casts, and yeah, they did add Tager in then, by the way. And here's our first DLC character, which is Blake from Ruby. And it just said up in the corner, DLC character, Day 1 DLC. There is a second version of that video now, where at the very end, they slap Yang up. And that little tag in the corner now says free DLC. So I'm guessing they heard the complaints, because there were a lot of them.
Oh, wait, what's the point of the free first day DLC?
It sounds like backpedaling if they were going to...
Yeah. So there's some cases where there's been additional content as Day 1 DLC for free, where that content has been finished after the game went gold. A couple of fighting games have done that in the past.
That could just be part of the Day 1 patch, because they won't be inserting the entire character. Like, they never do that.
No.
With all of the base material for all the characters that are going to be added as DLC is typically already in the game. So that would just be Day 1 patch material. It wouldn't make sense to call it Day 1 DLC, unless what you are trying to do is make it look like you are giving DLC away because there was this other PR disaster.
Name one. There's plenty of PR disasters going on at the moment.
Well,
yeah.
I mean, I think that saying that is just as cynical.
Yeah,
because it's not genuine. Like you could quite literally put any character in the game and flag it as Day 1 free DLC.
Oh yeah, you could.
There's no distinction between a character that is built in from Day 1 and a character that's DLC on Day 1, because everybody has to download a Day 1 patch anyway.
Yeah. Except, I suppose, a day one DLC character, you've actually got to go into the store and manually download it. So it's day one, it's part of the day one patch, except it's separate, so if anything, all it is inconvenient.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a silly PR move to try and show off how generous they think they are.
But I have faith in Arc System Works for now. They haven't done anything too terribly stupid with their DLC policies in the past, so they tend to listen to player feedback. So there's still hope.
Instead of deny.
There's hope that they won't go mad with power.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, I mean, curb stomping Capcom under their feet and leaving Capcom a bloody mess might have inflated their ego a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, but if they then turn around and do the exact same things that they were stomping on Capcom for, that would be embarrassing to say the least.
It would be, yes.
Well, it would be pretty hard to sink all the way to Capcom's level at this point. Honestly, we'll take anything other than what Capcom's been doing. At least they release full games.
Yeah, it's like you got Monster Hunter World, which is fantastic, and everything. I can't complain about their DLC policy because everything is free except for a few cosmetic things.
But Street Fighter V happened.
Street Fighter V happened. Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite happened.
Indeed.
What you do, Capcom? Which Capcom are we dealing with? I'd rather deal with the Monster Hunter World Capcom because I like those guys.
Yeah. So, what else about Dragon Ball FighterZ before we move on? Because that almost segues us into the only news article we have. But before we do that, so Dragon Ball FighterZ has a story mode.
Oh dear.
And it is okay. So the story mode is you play as you, the player, possessing the bodies of various Dragon Ball Z characters, and they I have the hiccups and it's driving me up the wall. But and there's this current thing going on in the Dragon Ball universe where waves from the Red Ribbon Army are reducing the power levels of the strongest fighters so that everybody's on an even playing field. And
so it's time for Lord Yamcha to strut his stuff.
They get to Yamcha and he's not quite knocked out all the way. He's just suppressed a little bit. And they're like, wow, Yamcha, you can still move with these waves up? And then Frieza's like, oh, that's probably because he wasn't that strong to begin with. The waves must not affect him that much.
Yeah.
This is so brutal.
Frieza's a bad guy. He's allowed to say stuff like that.
Yeah. So there are 3 paths, and there is no timeline jumping. You just play through 3 different timelines. The first one, you take control of Goku, and you kind of sort of save the day, but don't really understand what the heck was going on.
Sounds like valuable.
In the evil villain path, you take control of Frieza, and you make him do good things, despite not wanting to the whole way through.
That actually sounds fun.
You make Frieza save the day, and it ends in Oblivion Army ending with Goku and friends squaring off against Frieza, Nappa, and Cell, and all them. And then the last one, you take control of Android 18, and you get the actual story of what's going on.
Well, as much as Android 17 can get out of him.
Well,
yeah. The entire Android route for the first 5 chapters is you controlling 18 and making her stare bug-eyed around the place, and 17 going, okay, 16, what is actually going on? What's the plot, bro?
Shrug.
He's like, I cannot tell you this. And they tried to make some heartfelt character development for Android 16, but it comes off as really corny.
Yeah.
I mean, and it's all about the new Android 21 and who she is in relation to Android 16 and stuff like that. So, it's a little corny, but yeah.
Yeah.
But Android 21 is a fun character. She's voiced by Laura Bailey, who does Rise in Persona 4, and she does the Rise voice the whole time she's playing this character.
That sounds out of place.
So you get this psychotic Majin Buu dude turning people into candy that sounds like Rise from Persona 4.
That sounds really fitting to me.
It kind of is. I love it. and she's actually not that bad of a character, despite all the fan art attachment to her and all the crazies that latched onto her as a character. She's not that bad
because internet.
She's okay.
I've seen a lot of the people who were like ridiculously fangirling over her earlier have basically turned around and are all, man, this character, I love her, but she's a serious liability on my team.
Okay, so yeah, I picked up 21 for a while and got okay with her. And the way she works is she's very reminiscent of Rogue in one of the older Marvel vs. Capcom games, where she has 4 empty slots at the start of a match. And she has 4 different command grabs that you can combo into. They don't do very much damage, but what they do is, depending on which character you use them on, you'll steal an ability from them. So these are divided up between, like, the androids, alien and monstrous, Goku family types, and Vegeta family types. So what you do is you use these command grabs to steal an ability from that group and add it to your move list. Okay. So what you do is you get like an air combo going and you end it in the air command grab on a Vegeta, and you'll get like a barrage of Giga Blasts from the sky that do a fair amount of damage. Or you'll steal, do a ground combo and end it in a ground command grab, and you'll get like an android's energy barrier and stuff, which makes her a very technical character to use. And I get the feeling they designed her this way because there were several things missing with Dragon Ball that is very fair criticism, and that is all the characters are humanoid, muscly men with a fairly generic Kamehameha moveset.
Mm-hmm.
So they intentionally made this girl that is monstrous in build and has a very unique mechanic. So she fits that role very well. And she is fun to play, but nubs are not going to have a clue what to do with her because you can't just auto combo and do stuff with her. It's not going to work. Yeah, you have to know what you're doing to land the command grabs. You have to know which abilities you want to steal to be able to maximize their usefulness, i.e. you want all the Vegeta abilities because they're all better than everything else. And you do not want any Goku abilities because what are you going to do with Solar Flare?
Like win every fight ever.
Show them your shiny head.
It's like demonstrably the most effective ability in the series.
It is.
In Dragon Ball FighterZ, it does no damage and puts them in hit stun for like a few frames that you can combo off of. It's just a special cancel is all it is. It is not very good, especially with 21. But yeah, her supers are really good. She has an aerial level 3 and a grounded level 1 and a grounded level 3. And her grounded level 3 is the one I use the most because it's great for punishing people that do other raw level 3s at you. And she just points her finger at the dude and turns him into a cupcake and eats him.
Huh. Instead of candy, it's cake.
Yep. She likes sweets. She has a sweet tooth.
Right.
Well, so, yeah.
It's Boo.
Yeah. She is an android that has Majin cells in her in addition to all the stuff Cell had. So because she came out looking so she came out looking Majin-y.
Instead of buggy.
Yeah.
Which actually raises the question, how did Cell end up looking like that?
You know, Toriyama.
Yeah.
Cell wound up looking like that because Toriyama was told to make a monstrous final boss, and then that monster was told he wasn't cool enough looking, and then the semi-perfect form wasn't cool enough looking, and then we got Perfect Cell.
Well, they asked for monstrous, they got monstrous. They wanted less monstrous, they got fish-lipped weirdo. And then they got the lantern-jawed handsome guy with a funny-shaped head.
Yeah, the story of how Cell came to be with the editors and Toriyama is fairly interesting. The story's out there on the internet if you want to go look it up.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
The moral is that publishers rarely know what they actually want.
Well, it's an editor this time, but yeah.
Editors, yeah.
But yeah,
it's a case. It's really a case of the fact that they are constantly trying to pander to multiple groups at once.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and there are a lot of Dragon Ball fans like monstrous enemies, and a lot of Dragon Ball fans think Bishonen enemies are way cooler. Like, It just depends on who you ask. and trying to be all things to all men is usually what causes the downfall of an artistic work.
Yes.
But yeah, well, Cell turned out okay. But
yeah, I like
there
Cell.
was, yeah.
Yeah, but the thing is, when I say the downfall of an artistic work, that can mean a lot of things. And what it meant in the case of Dragon Ball was Dragon Ball continuing way longer than it was supposed to, and getting thinner and thinner as it went along.
Oh yes, he did put his foot down. He wanted to end the series at the end of the Cell saga, and
Well,
he
originally
had
wanted to end
saga.
at the end of the Frieza saga.
Yeah, he did, and then they talked him into one more arc, and he was originally that arc was going to be Dr. Gero and the Clown Boy, and then
They don't look cool.
Except the Clown Boy is stupid.
Yeah, then they came back with the new androids, and the editors came back and they're like, "These two douchebags, they can't be the final villains. Okay, I'll make a monster then. Monster's too scary looking. Doesn't look like a cool final boss. Okay, we'll make a semi-perfect form. Oh, that's not cool enough. You need to make him better, more final bossy. Okay, fine, we'll make a perfect form." Yeah. Toriyama has voiced a lot of frustration with its editors during that arc. But yeah,
you'd think that at this point he should be able to get away with pretty much anything he wants, though.
Just about.
In Super, from what I hear, he pretty much can.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, he's created such a juggernaut of a franchise now.
I suppose that's how he ended up with Beerus, I guess.
Beerus is awesome.
I like Beerus. He's supposed to look... Everything about him says he's supposed to be big and tough and imposing, and no, he's a big dork.
I love Beerus.
I do like Beerus.
It was one of Toriyama's better ideas. But yeah. Back to Dragon Ball Z Fighters. So yeah, I really enjoyed the game for what it is. It's a fairly, it's about exactly what I expected. A fun Arc System Works fighter with Dragon Ball characters.
Which craps all over its competition.
Yes.
Which absolutely takes a dump all over Marvel. And that segues nicely into our only news topic. So, Evo got its games announced this year, and the specific games aren't too terribly important. What is important is the lack of a game.
Yes.
So...
This has got to be a wake-up call if nothing else is.
Yeah.
Yeah. There was no Marvel vs. Capcom on the Evo roster this year.
Nope, not even the old one.
Yep, not MVC2. These hiccups are getting terrible.
Don't die on us.
I'm trying not to. No MVC2, no MVC3, no MVC3U, no MVCI. After a year, Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite is off the Evo roster.
Yep.
Did anybody even kick up a fuss about it?
Not from what I can tell. There's a couple disappointed people, but nobody mad about it. I've seen one or two Twitter posts about people being disappointed, and that's it.
Yeah, so disappointed, not mad.
Yeah, for those wondering, the current roster this year is Tekken 7 is the lone representative for 3D Arena Fighters. Injustice 2, Smash Bros, Wii U, and Melee because they draw viewers. They just get the numbers and the sponsors like that.
Mm-hmm.
Street Fighter 5 is there just because it's Street Fighter, and a lot of people don't want it, TBH.
Yeah.
It is not very hype, but this year we have 3 different anime fighters. Arc System Works has 3 slots this year, more than any other company.
Anime fighters don't normally get a good look
about that.
Yeah, we have Guilty Gear X-Order Rev 2. We have Blaze Blue Cross Tag Battle coming in, and we have Dragon Ball Fighters.
Yep.
All main game slots.
Well, what are all the butthurt Street Fighter players say about that?
Are there any left?
Like, yeah, I don't know. I don't hear anything from the Street Fighter community because they're like so isolated now. They're in their own little insular echo chamber at this point, and there aren't that many of them.
Which
nobody likes it.
Might as well bring something up. I think Seraph has posted as well. Who remembers Fighting is Magic?
Oh yes.
Yeah.
So we finally got a trailer
for them's Fighting Herds.
Yep, the game that Fighting is Magic became after the NDA came down on them like a ton of bricks.
Yeah. Yep. Hasbro said nope.
But yeah, it's
actually looks
EA is a
good.
different thing.
Yeah,
it does. I played the original Fighting This Magic pre-alpha leak, and it was pretty good. I liked what they were doing with that engine a lot, so I'm actually looking forward to this. It was a fun game to play, and having the same production values behind it that they promised would eventually come with like voice actresses from the show lending their talent and what's her face? I'm brain farting.
the artist.
Yeah,
Yeah,
lady behind ponies.
brain farting.
Yeah, I can't bring it to mind either.
It's a triple
really
brain fart. Lovely.
Yeah,
It's not. I remember what the pony version of it looks like, but I can't remember the name.
Yeah. Ask the internet, seeing as though we're just failing spectacularly.
Yeah, Lauren Foss.
Thank you.
Lauren Foss.
I knew it started with an L, but that was all I had.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I was thinking F something.
Yeah, so Lauren Foss brought character designs to the game. The animators did a great job making them all work together, and they got voice acting talent from the show, and at least Tara Strong's confirmed.
Excellent.
There might be a few more. So if they keep the same level of gameplay they had in that pre-release alpha before, and have just worked on it nonstop since then, I'm kind of excited for it. That was a fun game.
Yeah, well, watching the trailer, it looks like they've more or less kept that gameplay and they've just put new character skins over it, sort of. Like, you can tell which character used to be which pony.
Yeah, they reskinned the 4 ponies they had. But they got plenty of new characters, and yeah, it's going to be interesting.
Pinkie Pie's a llama now.
That's somehow appropriate.
That's incredibly appropriate, yes. So
But,
it actually looks good and very silly.
Indeed, it is very silly. I've hiccuped my way all the way back in my chair, like, so far back, it's not even funny.
That's kind of funny.
But yeah, I don't really know what else to say about it. We don't know very much about it. We'll have to wait till more info comes out on that.
Definitely. But,
yeah, it's an anime Evo, and we got ponies. Well, we got fighting herds anyway.
We got fighting herds. We'll probably see fighting herds at Evo next year.
I don't know if it'll go main slot. We'll have to see.
Yeah, no, probably not main slot, but it'll be in there somewhere. I wouldn't be scrap surprised to see it, especially considering Capcom is absent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Poor Capcom.
They
just got destroyed.
They tried the wrong things.
They just tried to stick too much up the customers' butts. Yep. They couldn't take it anymore.
In an age where the
Why
bubble
did you have to use an analogy like that?
Yeah. So, yeah,
that's what it feels like to have to deal with Capcom.
Butt stuff.
No.
Feels like
How about no?
How about no? Yeah. So I guess you could say there's kind of been a bubble lately where a developer or a publisher could take advantage of the customers and get away with it. That's coming to an end.
Yeah, these things do come to an end, and it seems like there's a lot of people who don't seem to acknowledge that until it's far, far too late.
EA!
Yeah, EA and the fighting game division of Capcom especially.
Yeah, without getting too bogged into the loot boxes and whatever, EA isn't going to put the boxes back into Battlegrounds 2. And from what the press releases and things about it they've said, and the various investor calls, they've learned absolutely nothing.
Well, they've learned what they've learned is that their investors have seen that they've lost a lot of money, and they want them to go and get that money back.
Yes, considering that game's been running at a loss,
and it's going to continue to do so.
Yep,
indefinitely.
There are people who will buy into the pay-to-win loot crate system, because there's always some, and there's no telling them not to, but not as many as you might think anymore. And I hate to tell them this, but Anthem is destined to failure if they do not change their ways, because we've seen that happen to Destiny 2.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like the people behind Destiny 2 are in denial that Destiny 2 is failing.
That's
the impression I get.
They seem to be bent on the idea that Eververse is still the greatest thing ever, even though everybody hates it. And Anthem, well, I'm not even going to say by all reports, just look at it. It's exactly the same game. It's just done by BioWare. That's the only difference.
Remember when BioWare used to be a company we looked forward to games from?
Yeah, but then they decided to,
EA happened.
Dragon Age and Mass Effect all over it.
Oh, the first Dragon Age was alright. Dragon Age 2...
Well, I'm talking about the subsequent ones, which apparently just got worse and worse as time went on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mass Effect would have happened.
Mass Effect. Well, the thing is that Mass Effect 3 was already a massive strike against them before Andromeda even came along.
Yep. As was SWTOR to a degree.
Yep. That was a mismanagement of funds.
So disappointing. Can we have the old BioWare back, please? We like those guys. They made good games.
Can we have the old Bethesda back while we're at it?
It's always been more or less the same Bethesda. They make half a game, they ship it, and then they fix it later.
And then they ship another version of Skyrim. And then they ship another version of Skyrim. And then they ship another version of Skyrim.
Yeah. That's what they've
been
doing lately.
The internet is just lousy with memes of Todd Howard trying to get people to buy Skyrim again.
Yeah. I'm waiting for E3 to roll around, and now you can buy Skyrim on your toaster or something.
We've got a new HD port of Skyrim on the PS4 with new 4K graphics.
8K graphics at that point, because we've had the 4K bibble, and now it's time for the 8K, because that's totally a thing people would want.
Yeah, before people even have...
People don't own 4K, though. How can they upgrade to 8K? Like, the market has not spoken that people want 4K yet.
No, but it's a thing that's happened because it's been a technological arms race. But I'm worried about a few games that should be really good this year, but yeah, like Red Dead Redemption 2. I mentioned it before the show. I'm worried that they're going to do the same thing they did for GTA 5, where the single player version for GTA 5, excellent. Grand Theft Auto Online is a pay-to-win, microtransaction-riddled mess, which has absolutely zero satisfaction to play.
But you played MechWarrior Online.
I have, and I've played most of it for free. MechWarrior Online...
Doesn't it have the same issue?
Yeah.
Like, it's just all about microtransactions? Like, that's the point?
It is. You can earn it through the game, but people keep buying me mechs.
To desperately get you to come back and play.
Yeah, so I'll come back, I'll play a little bit, and then I disappear again. Might come back again for an event or two, and then disappear again. Now, I like the game, except that sort of game gets repetitive rather quickly. So, yeah. We'll have to wait and see. I think the next year in gaming is going to be extremely interesting to see what people are going to put up with and what people are going to rebel against.
Yep. I am eagerly anticipating the first quarter's releases. I don't really know what's going to happen after that.
Yep.
Like, I haven't really seen much in the sort of the March, April, May period, which has got me especially enthused. But the fact is that I'm going to have so much to do with Monster Hunter and, after that Dynasty Warriors that that'll probably keep me going until Fate Extella Uplink comes out.
Yes.
Yeah, it's called,
Dynasty Warriors 9 looks so incredibly good, but that's another one they could ruin with microtransactions. I don't think they will, though.
I don't think. I think that they probably won't. Won't. I won't count on it because there's always.
Yeah, in the past they've done giant costume packs and things like that, but it hasn't been anything, any power buy or anything like that in the game. I think we've lost Wall again.
Yeah, I think he exploded.
Yeah, he exploded again. All right. Yeah. Anything else?
Vol might have something.
Maybe.
You might want to message him and tell him he exploded.
We probably should. Hang on. Fill the air while I ping him.
It's been a week of punching games this week, folks. Those of you that don't care about punching games, that's all that happened. Literally all that happened.
Yeah, this is the early year doldrums.
Yeah, we could continue to talk to you about loot boxes every single week because that's all people seem to care about. But we kind of beat that horse to death. That horse came back to life, and we beat the zombie horse to death.
Look, I'm glad.
Come back.
Oh, there you go.
Fabulous.
Look, I'm glad people are going to keep talking and keep ragging on loot boxes because it means that the topic is never far away. It's never going to go away. It's just not something we can talk about on the show. Not every week.
Yeah, I'll settle for company reactions and behaviors in regards to loot boxes, but loot boxes in general as a topic is just not something that is easy for us to talk about when we've already beat the zombie horse to death. We've killed that horse a few times.
Not until we get a big change. Like there's politicians and senators and things out there that are currently actively pushing to have legal consideration placed upon loot boxes and things like that. But until actually something happens there, we can't really say much more about it.
Well, I mean, I suppose it's technically possible that somebody will come up with something even more nefarious.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, it's going to happen.
EA exists. It's going to happen.
They got to recoup that money somehow.
And if it's not EA, it's 2K.
Speaking of EA things, I think it was EA things anyway.
Probably EA things.
Whatever became of Skylanders?
That was
it's
Activision.
Still going, from
it's
what
still
I know.
going. Yeah.
It was Activision. I don't really know the difference between Activision and EA anymore. There's really no distinction to speak of.
Activision still has something resembling a soul.
No, they don't.
They make Call of Duty.
It's a piece of paper that says soul written on it, but it's something that resembles a soul. EA just doesn't. But last I saw, Skylanders ended up with this kind of mobile tie-in version where you could create your own Skylander on your tablet. And
it's
then,
really popular with kids still.
Yeah.
Kids still love it.
I guess I don't know any kids, and I have no relatives in that age bracket.
Yeah.
I think I technically do have some relatives in that age bracket, but they're all like little girls who are obsessed with dressing as Elsa. So,
yeah. That movie isn't going away, is it?
My one family member I've referenced a few times that was in that age bracket is slowly growing out of it, so I won't have a good point of reference pretty soon here.
Yeah.
He's getting his permit. Like, he's getting his driver's permit. He turned 15.
Do you feel old?
Yes.
Feel old. Yeah.
You're going to feel older in a few days, don't worry.
Welcome to my world.
Party, and I'll cry if I want to.
Oh, no. I think that's about it. Like, there's a couple of little things, like there's a new trailer for Kingdom Hearts 3 come out, so it's the Monsters Inc. world, for those who care.
Whoa.
Wow, that's a... Oh, that's Disney, is it?
Yeah, that's Disney. Well, Pixar. They're the same.
I can never remember which ones are Pixar and which ones are DreamWorks.
Usually, if it's good, it's DreamWorks. If it's great, it's Pixar.
I don't know, I feel like Pixar ones are more commonly like overwrought, emotionally manipulative stuff, which is explicitly designed to sucker children into buying a pile of merchandise.
Yes. And that's the stuff that the industry loves.
You got a friend in me. Short people got no reason.
We've got a Kickstarter by Swery, I believe. So
he's weird.
He's extremely strange. Like, he's right up there with like Suda51 and things like that. I have no idea what this game is. It's called The Good Life. And he's called it a debt repayment daily life RPG. So, Animal Crossing.
A debt repayment RPG.
Debt repayment RPG.
That's sort of... Isn't that like, most people's actual lives?
It's certainly mine.
Not mine. I avoid debt like the plague.
It's going to happen one day.
No. No, it won't.
Well, the thing is though that Ari can just live at home until he can afford a house. Some of us had other phases of life.
Yes.
Yeah,
Certain phases I really wished had not happened. Ugh. So, I don't know what's going on here. Apparently it's, Debt Repayment Life RPG. You play as a character called Naomi, who can turn into a cat because reasons.
Because that's what happens when you have debt?
I guess.
She has to go into a field and pay off debt so she can go back to New York.
Yeah, so she can turn into a cat. At night, the cat inhabitants the town she's in turn into cats and dogs. And there's a murder mystery in there as well.
Is this a Pixar movie?
It's a sweary game. If it made sense, it wouldn't be a sweary game.
There's lots of booze in the trailer.
Yeah. Yeah. I think I've seen this before. When was this? Oh, right. That's right. A couple of years ago at one of the PAXs, it was originally announced there. It was weird then too.
Yeah. One of the lines in the trailer is just people become cats at night.
Yeah.
Because that's what people do.
Because that is what people do.
In what world does that make sense?
Sweary's world.
I don't think Sweary is very concerned about his world making sense.
I don't think he is at all.
I want to live in a world where people become cats at night.
I wouldn't mind that world, except, good grief, I see
No,
enough.
because there were a bunch of cats outside the window the other day, and they just made a humongous racket. It was the middle of the night.
Oh yeah, they got to sit there and scream and fight and carry on.
Well, then you could talk to them in cat language and tell them to shut up.
Which involves a lot of screaming and fighting and peeing on things.
It's basically all cats ever do.
Yeah. So, have fun with that.
Meow.
Meow.
Oh dear.
That's
We're meowing.
I'm meowing.
No, you're meowing.
You're meowing. That's
Other people are not meowing.
that's
The disease you have.
it. Like, there's a whole lot of closures, like Paragon. Nobody cared about Paragon because it was a MOBA that they never knew actually what they were doing with.
It got completely dumped on. Like I was like cautiously interested in that at first.
Yeah.
Because it was like they basically talked about adapting the Unreal Tournament sort of format to MOBA style gameplay, and they, like when most of these things come out, they had a whole lot of pretensions about how they were going to do something that was like marginally original, and then didn't.
Yeah. Well, that was the first version of it, and then they kind of changed it to be a more traditional MOBA, and then they changed it again to be something completely different.
But that's always what they do.
Yeah.
It always starts off innovative and then, completely ceases to be innovative.
But it doesn't go through 3 completely different games in the space of a year. So Paragon's gone, Gigantic's gone. Nobody even cared about Gigantic. Ugh. Scrolls is gone. The Mojang's card game. I thought that closed years ago.
I didn't realize it had reached release.
Oh, it had.
Like I thought that it was just going to be one of those things that lives and dies at E3s.
No,
I played it beta at some point.
Yeah.
I vaguely remember you guys talking about playing it, but I mean, I guess Hearthstone existed, so
Yeah. There's a speaking of, there's a card game that's popped up on Steam. Let me see if I can find it again and find out what's happening. It's something
Eternal,
like that. That'd be the one.
Yeah.
You look at the
Sleep's been
screenshots
trying to get me to play it. It looks like Magic.
It looks like Hearthstone.
He says it plays just like Magic.
But it looks like Hearthstone. It looks exactly like Hearthstone.
He says it plays just like Magic, and like it even has like lands of the same colors and stuff.
Okay, so it's Magic wearing a Hearthstone hat. Or possibly the other way around.
Yeah, he's been really into it and tried to get me to play it today. Talked about it nonstop. So I downloaded it, but I haven't tried it yet.
Gwent. Go play Gwent.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
That's if anybody brings it.
Another round of Gwent.
Another round of
Everybody needs to come play Gwent with me. Come on PS4 and play me in Gwent. Another round of Gwent. Another round of Gwent. I love Gwent. I've been having so much fun with that video game.
I really have just not got the knack for Gwent.
I'll teach you. Come with me.
No, anytime Ari promises to teach anybody anything, it ends up apocalyptically bad.
Something always goes horribly, horribly wrong.
Come with me to the Wuju Mountains, Fern. I will teach you the ways of the Gwent.
Oh dear. That means
Nothing
neglecting
good goes
people
on
in need and sitting around in a pub playing cards.
What happens in the Wushu Mountains stays in the Wushu Mountains.
Oh dear.
Now we're getting to that point. We should probably start wrapping up the show.
Yeah, we tried, folks.
We tried. We got something out of it.
Well, I mean, I guess it's hard to be too grouchy about having not much to talk about when part of the reason is that, you know, the big releases like Monster Hunter, that they haven't been filled with scandal. So
no. There's scandal coming. It's certainly coming.
It's always coming.
It's always coming.
Oh
but,
my!
We can't be positive on this show. We can't have that.
No.
It's the wrong show for that. We have just ruined everything again, haven't we?
Yeah, pretty much.
Probably.
It's sort of what we do sooner or later.
Yeah.
We agreed on at least one or two things in this show, so we know we're wrong about something.
We're completely wrong if we were agreeing.
Yep.
Yep.
So, email topic of the week. There's a lot of punching games talked about this week. Do you have any punching games that you're playing right now? Looking for fighting herds? Looking for Dragon Ball?
Yeah.
Hype about Evo? Bunch of games.
Talk about your punching.
Nobody's. I don't know. Evo's turned increasingly into just an exercise and redistribution of cash money between various entities within the fighting game space. So I don't think people are as hyped for it as they used to be.
Yeah.
It's lost its reputation for being especially niche or especially oriented towards the community, and is more oriented towards being, you know, a corporate shill machine.
Yep.
It's
giant money factory.
Those of us that still watch it treat it more like professional wrestling.
Why?
We go to watch our same players play the characters they're good at, to see the grudge matches and the money matches.
So yeah, characters who pretend to be certain people or dubbed over by incredibly annoying commentators. Yeah, okay, I can see the parallel.
Yipes is a good commentator. Why do you hate Yipes?
I hate all of them. I don't discriminate because they're all annoying.
I need to show you Yipes commentary.
No.
Or spooky commentary.
Does he say wombo combo at any point?
He was not the Wombo Combo dude.
But does he say it?
No, I don't think so.
Oh, okay, he's actually got something going in his favour then.
No, he's the one that coined the term curly mustache, popping them like Pringles whenever somebody gets knocked up in the air by a launcher.
I hate him. I don't know anything about him.
Yep. See?
I love Yipes. He's the best commentator.
That's part of the reason why commentators are so annoying, is because they speak absolute gibberish.
Curly mustache.
That's not really commentary. Like,
no.
The purpose of commentary is to make the action more accessible, not less accessible and completely crammed to the gills within jokes.
Yeah.
It totally defeats the purpose of commentary.
Exactly.
At that point, commentary is only for people who don't need it.
I love you, Yipes. I will still love you.
I probably don't.
Oh, dear.
That's not mean. That's probably mean to say something about a person I've never met.
Oh, dear.
It's one of the things that really annoys me about esports is it could become a big thing, but the commentators are one of the things that really work against it.
Yeah, the thing is, that's the difference between, you know, an amateur and a professional commentator, is that a professional commentator knows that the audience has to understand, not just them, whereas the amateur just thinks that enthusiasm is enough and will always be enough.
Also, pop culture phrases.
No,
Say catchphrase.
Nobody wants pop culture phrases. No, absolutely not.
If you're a commentator and you have a catchphrase, you're doing it wrong.
You're allowed to have a catchphrase when you've been doing it for 30 years.
Yes.
On
you have
television.
to earn it.
Closing comments go.
I do not like esports. I think people have maybe not grasped that yet, but I'm really annoyed by esports.
This Rathian just won't die. It keeps going away from me. And now
it doesn't want to die. It knows you want to peel it and turn it into a hat.
I don't want to turn it into a hat. I want to turn it into a dress.
That's even worse.
Is it?
Maybe.
Oh my goodness.
Don't peel your Rathians.
Well, what else are they good for? They're too spicy to eat when they've got the skin on.
True. This makes absolutely no sense anyway. Now we're being annoying
This is
and
just what
jokey.
happens when there's no news.
Yes.
Like the commentators do it when they've got something they're supposed to be talking about. We don't have anything we're supposed to be talking about. So that's why we get it wrong.
Yes, that's why we ruin everything.
All right, folks. We'll talk to y'all next week. Sayonara, bye-bye.